Hi, everybody. I'm very excited. It is a flagship of our journalism. Every year, the Rebel News sends a team to Davos, Switzerland to cover the World Economic Forum. Now, as you know, we always apply to get in within the moat and the drawbridge. They never give us accreditation, but that's okay. We do our journalism outside the security perimeter where these VVIPs come out and walk down the street. It's very exciting journalism. It's a signature item for Rebel News, and I'm really excited about going this year. There's so much to talk about. Sheila, it's your first time. Abhi, I think you're the dean of our group. I think you've been more than most. Abhi, why don't you tell me what your goals are this year, and we'll go to Sheila, who'll be the newcomer on our team.
Yeah, Ezra, actually this year I think I'm super excited because obviously it falls out on, it starts on Inauguration Day, and I think that's a pack of questions for almost everybody that attends the World Economic Forum. Think about how many people there have tried to silence Elon Musk, how many people there, especially through the pandemic, treated RFK Jr. like he was enemy number one. It'll be just interesting to see what angle they take, if they all kind of fall in line like Zuckerberg and cave and suddenly talk nicely about those that they've tried to shut down for so many years, or they take a strong position and dig their heels in. I'm super excited to see what comes out of this year.
I think you're right. Last year, the two names on everyone's lips were Trump and Musk, and it's come true. So it'll be amazing to see if they move away from censorship and ESG and DEI, like Zuckerberg's trying to do, if they're going to go with the flow or if they're going to declare war. Sheila, what do you think? You have a unique perspective on this. You're from Alberta. Oil and gas is something that, you know, the people of the World Economic Forum believe in taxing it into oblivion. They love Greta Thunberg. You're going to be going into the heart of darkness.
It is my first time to Davos, but it's not my first time at one of these globalist shindigs. To borrow some language from the late, great Kathy Shadle, these people are not smart enough to tell me how to live. When I went to the United Nations climate change conferences in the past, I sort of approached it through the lens of exposing their hypocrisy. And I think that was pretty successful because the mainstream media, especially at the World Economic Forum and of course at the climate change conferences, they are true believers. They're not skeptics, so they don't see the same things I do. So these are the people who are telling me to eat bugs. I want to know the restaurants that are serving the bugs to the fancy people. These are the people telling me that I need to drive some sort of egg-shaped abomination that won't start in the wintertime to save the planet. I want to see how they're arriving. I want to see the private airstrip. I want to see the idling SUVs while taxing mine into oblivion. I want to expose for the rest of the world the hypocrisy of these people who want to tell me how to live, but they won't make the same sacrifices that they're asking us little people to make.
Sheila, one of the things I'm hoping that you'll do, and I know it's part of my plans too, is to ask the people at the World Economic Forum about Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney. Chrystia Freeland right now is a director. She's on the board of governors of the World Economic Forum. And Mark Carney was for years. It's like that crazy clip of Klaus Schwab who says, we have penetrated the cabinets.
That we penetrate the cabinets. What we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, half of this cabinet, or even more, half of this cabinet are for our actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
It's a conspiracy theory until you realize it's true. No, the only two serious choices the Liberals are offering Canadians are World Economic Forum puppets like Trudeau. It's almost too nutty to be true. It'll be interesting to see what they have to say about these folks, if they have anything to say, because Canada is like a little plaything for the masters of the universe out there. Now, on our little planning meeting here, we've got two of our videographers. Lincoln, without giving away too many of our trade secrets, why don't you tell us what you can expect? Your job is basically to run backwards, to spot the VVIPs, and then to holler to me and Sheila and Abhi, hey, come and take a look at this. And then basically to walk backwards as we jog down the street with these guys. Tell us a little bit about that, a day in the life of a videographer for Rebel News at the World Economic Forum.
Well, compared to like usual day-to-day videography in Toronto and in Canada, it's very different because you're out all day on the ground and it's cold and there's elites all around you. And half the battle, like you said, I won't give away any of our tricks or techniques on how we identify people or spot people, but they're all around you. And a lot of the people that you see, they may not be the face of a company or organization, but they work with the company or organization. For example, when we spotted the guy who worked for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, like there's people like that are walking by you all the time, but you don't really see these people on TV or on the news or giving interviews. They're kind of like behind the scenes people, but all of those types of people are there. So like I said, I won't give away our techniques on how we identify those people, but I'm excited and just keep the camera rolling.
Benji, one of the most watched videos of all time for Rebel News was one that you spotted Albert Bourla, the CEO of Pfizer. 2 years ago, you saw him on the streets of Davos. Tell us a little bit about what that was like, filming our walking scrum with the guy who made billions off of forced injections.
He was our number one list of people to get. And I've done my work on like remembering faces and remembering names. And we just so happened to spot him.
But we believe this is one of the most important things to cover because this is a form of a crypto government. What I mean by that is they talk policy, they do lobbying, they schmooze, they come out with policy statements, but none of it's democratic. There's no opposition. There's no independent media allowed in. There's no checks and balances, no lobbyist registry. So what we do there is one of the most important things we do all year. And as I mentioned earlier, both candidates leading for the race of the next Prime Minister of Canada are World Economic Forum alumni. So this is incredibly important, not just in the big picture, but in the next month or so, we will have a new Prime Minister that comes from the World Economic Forum. And Canadians ought to know what that means. So it's a big project. I really want folks to follow it. We start on Monday, January 20th. I'm going to be a day or two late because I have to meet Premier Smith in Washington before the inauguration, but Sheila and Avi will be there starting on the Monday, the 20th. If you believe this is an important project, and I think it's really the most important thing we do all year, please go to wefreports.com. Frankly, we need your help to pay for the 5 or 6 flights I've just described, this crazy Airbnb that jacks up its prices because thousands of people are trying to find accommodation. It's expensive, which is on purpose. They're trying to keep citizen journalists away. I bet you Albert Bourla would pay anything. He would probably pay $1 million if he could to have stopped us from filming that walking scrum with him. And John Kerry and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they do not want us there, which is why we have to be there. So please go to wefreports.com. Help us out if you can. And that's the page to visit all the time, multiple times, starting Monday, January 20th. We're going to be in Davos. Sheila Gunn-Reid, last word to you.
You know what? I'm just excited because I don't often get a chance to work directly with Ezra and never get to work or even see Avi in person. So that's exciting. But I think we are all going to bring our own unique perspectives from our own countries and from our own sides of the country. So I'm sure there will be something for everybody, no matter what your issue is.
Bundle up, bring your mitts and your hat, because we're on the streets all day. They won't let us in to their inner sanctum, but on the streets is where we do our journalism. It's citizen journalism at its best. Switzerland's police are very gentle, and they allow us to do more intense scrumming than in Canada, which is a bit of a police state by comparison. So we'll see you in Davos, everybody. Go to wefreports.com to follow along and to help. Thanks. We're going to the World Economic Forum's annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland. What's so important is that both Mark Carney and Chrystia Freeland, running for Prime Minister in Canada, are World Economic Forum directors. We've got to know the evil source of their policy ideas. Only Rebel News does it. Go to wefreports.com for our on-the-ground coverage on Monday and all next week.